Welcome from the tundra that is upstate New York. All my Canadian friends and all of my New York friends. Here we are, we're in it. I actually really like the winter though. I don't know why everybody's such a fucking pessimist about the snow. I mean, it makes it really difficult for travels and whatnot. How's it going? What is up? I just got done trudging through a bunch of snow to go to the gym, which is why I am all wrapped up like this and unbathed and gross and etc. I hope whoever's watching is having a wonderful morning. If you've gotten any snow yet, my condolences. We got 9 inches last night, and they weren't a pleasurable 9 inches. The driving conditions are shit at the beginning of the year because it's like everybody's learning how to drive again in the snow, and apparently, you know, Rochester, New York doesn't really feel like they need to bring out their plows until Armageddon is happening. So it is a good time. Yes, good evening, good afternoon, and good night, as the Truman Show would put it. My glasses keep fogging up because I'm all sweaty from the gym. Gross. Me and my purple canister. Today is my today's scent of the day is my what I consider to be my breakthrough fragrance into the niche world, into well, not the niche world, because it wasn't the first niche fragrance I ever smelled or anything like that. It was just the first one that like hooked me and grappled me into submission. And here I am, still trying to tap out and trying to give up the hobby, but it just won't let go. I'm just kidding, it's not like that. You know, fragrance is enjoyable, so here we are. But either way, this is the one that's left its lasting impression. And it is none other than Bond Number 9 Silver Factory. I absolutely love this stuff. It is one of my all-time favorites. It's in my top 10. In all respects, it's probably, if not the only, one of maybe 2 or 3 good fragrances from this brand, because everything else is shit. So, with that being said, you know, Silver Factory, if you haven't gotten your nose on it, unfortunately it's been discontinued because of the use of Mr. Warhol's artwork that they no longer have the rights to. So, I think for a little while they sold it as just Silver Bond, but I'm pretty sure it's gone now. So, unfortunate. Unfortunate. Robert P. Gay. I've only tried, I think, his tuberose fragrance, I believe, and that would have been like probably at least 3 or 4 years ago. Fracas, I think, by Robert P. Gay is one that I've always wanted to try. Fracas, yes, yep. That must not be the one then, because there was one that was just like super tuberose heavy. Fracas was one that, I mean, that could be, you know, tuberose heavy as well. I don't know because I haven't tried it, but it wasn't Fracas. Maybe it was Fracas then. I'm not a huge fan of tuberose. I think when it's done in a mild manner, then I can pull it off. But when it's like really heady and pissy smelling, you know, it's got a very animalistic, primitive quality to it, and I do like it when it's in like really, really small quantities, but typically speaking, I'm not a huge fan of florals to begin with, least of all tuberose and jasmine. They're two of my least favorite notes, but when they're done properly, I absolutely adore them. We're just flopping around. My phone's on 20%, so probably should have thought of that before going live. Oh boy. I don't, you know how everybody has like, everybody has like days that they don't enjoy. Mine's Tuesdays. Yeah, I get like a cat pee smell kind of out of both. Jasmine's definitely got a fleshy quality to it, almost like unbathed skin or something. I don't know. And gardenia can be that way too when it's paired with animalic notes. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, Thursday's kind of a blah day too. I don't know why. I mean, I don't get like the Monday blues. I look forward to Monday kind of. It's like the fresh start of a week and whatever. Tuesday, because it's not like there's nothing going on for Tuesday. There's Taco Tuesday, which is great. But like Wednesday is the middle of the week, Thursday's the day before Friday, Friday is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, etc. I think Sunday and Tuesday are like my least favorite days. There's like some kind of weird anxiety that comes with both where it's like Sunday's preparing for Monday and Tuesday's like, oh, come on, get on with it already. I'm curious what you guys are wearing today. Not your attire, but your fragrance. And so if you want to comment down below what your scent of the day is, and also to keep this interactive with whoever shows up in the live stream, what was your first designer purchase and your first niche purchase, if you've got one? I'm just curious what everybody's firsts were. When I was very young, and I'm not exaggerating, you guys will see I met up with Chad from our fellow Canadian friend from A Gentleman's Journey, and he did a fun little interview with me. It was great to meet him. Thank you, Chad, for meeting up with me in Buffalo. I have been collecting since I was a kid. I was literally like 7 years old when I got my first bottles of cologne. Obviously, they're nothing too exquisite. They were, preferred stock and navy and shit like that until I got like Adidas Moves when I was in 5th grade and moved on to Nautica Competition, which is, I wish that was still in production, the good version, not the new crap. I love that stuff. Tommy Hilfiger's Tommy. Dior Higher was my signature scent. I didn't call it that back in the day, obviously, but from 7th to 9th grade, it's been discontinued. It's a wonderful, spicy, fruity fragrance. L'artisan is one of the most underrated niche houses, in my opinion. I actually really liked Usher. I think it was Usher Silver, whatever the like shiny bottle was that wasn't the black one. I had a friend that had that. I don't remember what it's called. I have not tried Higher Energy. I definitely should because Dior is one of the best houses out there. But also, you know, I loved Higher. I haven't tried much of the Zegna fragrance house either. I should definitely give them a chance. I think it was a, I don't know if it was literally called Bergamot, but it was is their private line or the higher end line or whatever. There's a Bergamot fragrance that I tried and it was really, really good actually. I just tend to not really gravitate towards citrus all that much. As you guys can tell, I tend to really like the heavier notes. Even in the summertime, I remember back in the day recommending wearing Musk Ravageur in the summer because it just goes so well with like humid, hot skin. So I'm one of those guys. But you know, I love Millesime Imperial. I love Green Irish Tweed. I love Dior Homme Sport, Chanel Allure Homme Sport rather. Yeah, I definitely like a good citrus fragrance, but that sounds good. I'm a sucker for vanilla. Like Guerlain is in my top 5 favorite houses. I think that's probably one of the most well blended houses on the market, and they use vanilla in just about everything, and it's like the best vanilla on earth. Amouage Reflection Man is one of my all-time favorites. I just finished my bottle probably like 3 months ago, and I haven't gotten one yet. I need to get on it. Was a signature scent for me for a couple years, probably 2 years. I absolutely love that stuff. That and Royal Oud have been the 2 constants for the last 6 years of my journey that I've gone through multiple bottles of both. Yes, I am live again. I want to try to do this more often because it's something that is sustainable for me. Well, my favorite Amouage is definitely Reflection, and I know that I know that it's the safest Amouage, but I think it represents my journey because I've had so many things oriented around events in my life with that fragrance while wearing it. But Jubilation 25 is one of the fragrances that got me hooked in collecting, and I would say that that's the most, like, in my mind, the most respected Amouage. And Interlude is one of my favorites too. Those 3 are like the staples from the brand, in my opinion. I could kind of leave or take the rest of them. Memoir is pretty good, but if you got Gucci Pour Homme 1, you don't really need Memoir. Red Oud is delicious. I actually got one of my coworkers into collecting. I've given him the collecting bug, and one of his first purchases was Red Oud. Shit. What was I gonna say? Oudin, yes, Xerjoff's Oudin. My bottle of Oudin is long gone. I don't even remember what company I ordered it from because they closed their doors. Or maybe it was Min, actually. When they had Xerjoff, they were like doing an event where they were getting rid of all their Xerjoff. It was like something fucking ridiculous, 50% off or something. And they had run out of 100 ml bottles of Oudin and gave me 2 50 ml bottles for the price of the 100 ml, which makes sense because if you are doing business and you ran out, then there you go. But either way, both of those are long gone. That was like 2013, I think, when I had those. And my God, I loved Oudin. I don't. I've never read a fragrance book. Not a single one. I'm going to be honest. No, I just I shoot from the hip, and I kind of, I don't really like do a whole lot of yeah, I shoot from the hip. I don't really do a whole lot of research on fragrances, to be honest with you. Sunshine Man from Amouage. Here is a little tidbit for you all. Eau Noir that was discontinued by Dior, the private blend line, which, by the way, in my mind, is like one of maybe 3 that are even worth it from the private blend line and actually interesting. And it was discontinued, and it had this amazing maple pancake type smell to it. Sunshine Man smells almost identical to it. So if you missed the boat on Eau Noir by Dior and the Privé collection, then definitely check out Sunshine Man. So yes, I do really enjoy Sunshine Man. Diaman is pretty good as well. That's a really nice resinous fragrance, if I remember. I haven't tried it in a couple years. Yes, Xerjoff is overpriced. I agree. I absolutely freaking adore Uden and Kobe. Those two are stunning to me, but the price tag that comes along with those suckers, I'm not really interested. Like, I guess you could say, you could justify it if you were only going to purchase, like, hey, I need one clean cut citrus magnetic scent, and that was all you're going to do, then I could justify it. But, you know, Uden has kind of lost a little bit of its touch a little bit. I tried a sample not too long ago, and it was like a little more sharp than I remember, and not as dense, and it's kind of lacking on the rum note that it used to have. Yeah, exactly. Parfums de Marly is dog shit. I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm glad that Eugene and Christo are on the Parfums de Marly hate bandwagon along with me, because I don't understand. Here's the thing. Because I don't care about this. Like, I care about all you guys, and I care about connections and friends, and this is a crazy ass hobby, and meeting new people and all that kind of stuff. The connection is what's the important part to me. The marketing and the making money off of it, well, I don't care if people do that, because that's their business, and I've stated that many times before. I don't understand it necessarily. And when you're blatantly coming into a community of people that has mostly been passionate and worked around work schedules and worked around school schedules and worked around getting these fragrances with their hard-earned money, like, you guys got to remember, my channel is really small, but I was one of the, like, first 15 people to start. I am an OG, as they would say. And since I've seen so many people come and go, it's really interesting to me when I see people blatantly, like, lying through their teeth, or just not knowing what the fuck they're talking about when they say shit like Parfums de Marly is solid, because it's just absolutely, that's just not factual. It is all opinion based, of course, and I'm saying for the price point of the fragrances that you get, it simply does not register in my brain. You take, I write my own scripts. So I write my own screenplays. YSL Tuxedo. I don't think I've ever tried it, to be honest with you. But yeah, Parfums de Marly is just a copycat house. They are so freaking expensive. If you can find a deal on them, if you spend like I would say they'd be worth $100 or less. Hi Chad, how's it going, buddy? I was just talking about you. I don't understand. Yeah, it's. I think the bottles are fucking ugly too. To be honest with you, I mean, I've owned 2 of them. They're nothing to write home about. The caps, the bottles, they're all really gaudy. They're very, very heavy. Who cares? Who gives a shit? What do you like? Are you gonna knock someone out with it? What are you doing with it? It's going to sit on a shelf. It's going to get dust on it. You're going to spritz yourself with it once a month if you're collecting. You might be waiting for a while. I think he could release the top 20 reasons as to why you don't buy a Parfums de Marly fragrance, and that I would definitely be interested in. I know for a fact Chad would not buy a Parfums de Marly fragrance. Again, they are worth it if they're $100 or less, but again, there's nothing in the line that even interests me. Herod is a weird combination of, like, if you took Tobacco Vanille and Chergui and put them together in my mind. Overly sweet. Dua is the same as what? Is the same as Parfums de Marly? I don't know how much Dua fragrances are, but since they literally are like they copy fragrances on purpose. I don't clone houses in general. I don't. I will say this because I'm always willing to try something. I don't just reject things like an asshole. Like I'm just like fuck all that. I'm willing to try things, and the one house that's been a clone house that I've actually enjoyed fragrances from has been Parfums Vintage. Yeah, Callan, I'd see, and you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you too. Chergui is freaking incredible. That is you want to talk about classic fragrances? Pfft, that one's not going anywhere. It's incredible. But I'm gonna be honest with you too. With brands like Parfums de Marly, people like Demi Rawling put a bad taste in my mouth as far as even bothering to try them. So like, you see all the hype and the shit, and it's like, okay, it's been out for 2 minutes, and you're reviewing it because you think you know what you're talking about, but really don't, jack shit at all. And it just puts, I'm not interested. It's like when you see someone, like when you hear the same song over and over again on the radio and everyone's like super psyched about it, but you heard it like a month prior and it's like, oh fuck, I can't listen to it anymore. It's like ruined. It's kind of the same effect. Maybe I'm just a jerk, I don't know. It might be a combination of both. Now you stop. I was very polite. I thought you loved me, Chad. Yeah, and the other problem I have is like Parfums de Marly, again, would be good if it was a designer fragrance house or relatively like commercial, and sold in things like Sephora. Um, no, I don't get contacted with that kind of shit, to be frank, because I think I've pretty well established a a well-known persona for myself of being that guy that's not going to play the game. So I would be probably too brutally honest. Yeah, exactly. And I will say again, I have liked fragrances from Parfums Vintage or whatever it is. Um, they have made fragrances that smell literally almost like the Aventus one. Has smelled almost identical to Aventus, and I really can't. Dude, Eugene, if you had Facebook, man, I've been trying to contact you for like a week. Um, I've been talking to Christo for 2 days now, trying to figure out if it's possible because yeah, no, I want it to happen so bad. And I know in your interview when you had mentioned, you could work with me, if I could name 4 or 5 people that I wanted to meet, you and Christo are in that list. Like, and I've never engaged with either one of you privately, which is kind of beyond me, but dude, yeah, I cannot wait to see the history video, and I can't wait to see the interview that we got going on. Dude, fuck yes, you're my man. You are my man. I'm gonna tell you what right now though, if it becomes if it becomes a thing where you and I are have Christo sandwich between the two of us, he's not gonna know what to do with himself. Two prickly pear assholes, with Christo. He's so mild-mannered. But I've never really conversed with either one of you, and it makes me sad because we have so much in common. Just in general, I can tell. I mean, we're the same philosophy of just doing this for the passion of it. It's not about commercialism and all that. And I just like keeping it real. So I want to make that happen for sure. And we're like 4-hour drive apart. It's not even bad. It's not bad at all. Because I'm in Rochester, New York. If you know where that is, you could look that up in your Google Maps right now and see that it's not too far off. Yeah, I can't see myself ever being invited to one of those events because bye, Chad. Have a good day at work. Because I don't think that they would really trust me to behave myself. And it's not that I can't be polite and cordial with the perfumers and companies themselves. It's more or less the other affiliates, the other people that would be going. A lot of the other reviewers, I don't pretend to think that I could get along with. And I hear you. And I do hear you. HEAR. Did you guys get fucked with snow last night, by the way? Because we got like 8 or 9 inches last night here. Freaking Lake Ontario. Is there any big movie buffs in this chat with me right now? Because I gotta tell you, I just saw, a week ago I saw The Lighthouse, and it was absolutely incredible. I'm waiting for someone to make that joke. English Laundry is a brand I've never tried, actually. Yeah, exactly. I'm not kiss-ass either. That's the problem. Now, I will say that I've met Red Olescent Steve. I've met him, and we hung out for pretty much a day in New York City a couple years ago. If you guys haven't seen those videos that we've done together, and just absolute gentleman. And I'm not saying that there's not people I can't get along with or whatever, but there's just too much. It's too much. It's too self-indulgent. And it's too much politics. The Lighthouse is just incredible. I'll tell you the reason why it's incredible is because there's nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like it. I've tried all the Slumber House fragrances. I'll tell you, I have followed them since I was a wee little 22-year-old when they first came out, and they had the square, ugly-ass little bottles, and then they, when they were only sold on Indie Sense, and then they upped their game to the bottles with, like, the little pearls or whatever the hell they were inside the bottle, and now they are where they are. Well, no, that's actually, they've changed the bottle design again. I do need to get a backup bottle of both Or and Kisti, because those two are absolutely incredible to me, and, like, two of my staples that I've had for years now. I've tried them all, though. I've tried them all. Other than, there's one that was a limited release a long time ago, and I know for a fact that Mark has it. It's, I believe that some kind of utilization of plum note is in it, and I can't recall what it is. Ah, yes, Beyond the Black Rainbow. And then that director came out with Mandy, which was also incredible. Cedric Boise. Cedric Boise, I ended up selling. I got about halfway through my bottle and I just got sick of it. But I do understand where you're coming from. It is a compliment magnet. It just got like overly sweet to me or something. I'm not sure. I wore it a lot. I wore it for like a month straight because I was just working outside so much, filming and stuff, and it was hotter than shit here. like 90 degrees every day in freaking July and August. So I think I just got kind of like nauseated by it. Yeah, it's a really pleasant scent, and I'm not knocking it at all. I just got really tired of it from wearing it so much in the heat. I don't think that it's necessarily great when it's 90 degrees out. I figured that out the hard way, because it does get very sweet on my skin, anyways. But like 70, 80 degrees and lower, it's a really great Swiss Army knife, I think. Yeah, it's one of those ones, especially because their sprayers suck ass, so it only spritzes out like a very minimal amount to kind of go overboard. You know, you think that you need like 5 or 6 sprays, like nah, you're probably good with 2 or 3. Chanel number 5 is surprisingly really addicting to me. Not to be a cliche, since it's considered, you know, the greatest or one of the greatest fragrances made of all time, but it is definitely a good one. I think a man can pull off anything he wants to be honest with you. And that goes for women too. Not allowed to wear fragrances at work. Do you work at a hospital or something? You don't have to tell me that if you don't want to share it on here, but that would make sense. What camera? Oh, he's got a Sony A7R2. Um, if you're talking about as of recently. And then for actual filmmaking, we have a Red Dragon, which obviously we don't use for YouTube reviews. My buddy Ben, that's his camera, the Red Dragon, but that's what we use when we make movies. It's not my camera. It's a $20,000 camera, and I'm just not that rich. But the A7R2, you can get a nice kit, a nice starter kit with a lens, I think for maybe like 2,500 bucks. Allure Homme is incredible. I absolutely love Allure Homme. I love most of Chanel's fragrances. Even Bleu de Chanel, which is arguably their worst, I still like it. Survival show. No, well, kind of actually. I did just come from the gym before recording this, and we got about 9 inches of snow, and it's still blustering outside. So I came in and I was all wrapped up still, and I haven't showered or anything yet. So I got my beard is all frizzy and fucked up. But yeah, Allure Homme is an incredible fragrance. It's one of the best from the designer end of things, and Chanel has somehow gotten progressively worse, unfortunately. Fuck yes, I do. Sycamore is my shit, dude. For like 6 years now, I've loved Sycamore, and Coromandel is like a more patchouli-based Musc Ravageur, in my opinion. I haven't tried much else other than those two. I think those are probably the only two I've tried from Chanel's exclusive line. But, oh no, that's not true. I've got a review on Egoist versus Bois de Zile, or however you pronounce it, Bois de Ile, or, yeah. Which is also a really nice fragrance. I just did not care for the opening. It's a little too, it was like a little too pissy or floral or something. But once it gets into the mid and dry down, I love it. Yeah, Sycamore and Coromandel are incredible. Sycamore is my favorite vetiver fragrance ever. Just the smoky, lust, amazing stuff. Yes, I have tried a lot from Byredo. The only two that I have purchased are Gypsy Water, which is arguably a little overpriced for what it is. and Accord Oud, which I think is fucking phenomenal. A really medicinal raspberry leather bomb. Even though there says oud, there's no oud in it at all. That's just a marketing ploy. Fight me. Because I definitely don't get oud out of it at all. It's just a really medicinal raspberry. Savage leather. Just rustic as hell. Love it. Yeah, I would never purchase... That's the other thing. I would never purchase Byredo retail. Not a fucking chance. And all that is holy. I've never spent more than $120 on a 3.4 ounce of Byredo. So I'm like I scour on eBay. Like that's the only way. Or I'm in all these fragrance forums where I see people occasionally putting things up. I always buy used or on eBay or FragranceNet. I hardly purchase anything retail unless I absolutely have to. Like I've had to purchase Guerlain retail from their L'Art La Matière line. And I've had to purchase things like Slumber House retail, which they're not that bad anyways, and Frederick Mall retail. But other than that, I've really I try to avoid it as best I can. Even Tom Ford, which I freaking blow Tom Ford. I love Tom Ford. That's my favorite house. Is as he's kind of progressively gone more towards making fragrances for the masses, I've kind of leaned back a little bit, but yeah, but Parfums de Marly is also shit. It's not quality. And like I said, and I'll say it again, and I said it on this live stream already, if you can get it for $100 or less, then go for it. Encre Noir Sport, yeah, geez, if I could speak. Encre Noir Sport. It's interesting. Encre Noir is a masterpiece. Encre Noir Sport isn't, I guess it's kind of like an interesting, like watery vetiver type thing. Have you tried Patchouli Absolute, or is it a blind buy? Because it's changed. I will say it's changed since its original release. It's a little less dense than it used to be. It used to be a little bit more primitive. And by that, I mean kind of earthy. Almost like a soily patchouli. And now it's not quite that as much. See, exactly. It used to be a dense motherfucker, and now it's kind of... I don't know. I tried it at a boutique when I was in New Jersey not too long ago. And from the original formulation of it, it was just, yeah, a little lackluster. But that being said, I don't know if you smelled an older version, or maybe I should give it a try on my skin again. I'm very, very particular with that brand now. I just know that because he's reformulated so much, like, but the classics, like Amber Absolute, I'm a huge Amber fan. I know there's actually really not that many people out there that love Amber, but I'm a huge Amber fan. And Amber Absolute, the original Tuscan Leather, Bois Moroccan, I don't even like oud wood. I think it's kind of intoxicated. Didn't, unfortunately, that get discontinued? I think it did recently, which is too bad. Exactly. FragranceNet is where it's at for Tom Ford. I would never purchase Tom Ford retail either, to be honest with you. Like, I get my 100 ml bottles of Tom Ford for about $175, and that's about as much as I'd go. Noir de Noir is honestly one of my favorite floral fragrances. I absolutely love it. Yes, and Beau de Jour is arguably one of their most interesting ones that they've come out with as of recent. Um, the two Fougere fragrances, Fougere Platine and I forget the other one. They weren't bad, but Beau de Jour was definitely um, a very classic. Although I will say, Beau de Jour does have a lot of similarities to Sartorial by Penhaligon's, if you've ever tried that, and is much lighter on the wallet and actually a little bit more dense than Beau de Jour. A little different, but very similar compositions, and definitely that old school barbershop feel to it. For classic fragrances, for the classic men and women that are here with me, um, fuck yeah, Noir Extreme is incredible. But you know, I when I say that, I feel kind of silly because Noir Extreme is definitely a designer scent. But I am a sucker for gourmands. But it's really difficult to find complex gourmands. So I kind of have to settle every once in a while. And that's one of those ones where it feels inviting and warm, but I almost feel strange about enjoying it so much because it's not some masterful blend or anything like that. And I also wish that it would last a little bit longer and project a little bit better because the performance isn't that great. But yeah, L'Artisan, if you can find them for a decent price, I mean, when you're talking about fragrances like L'Artisan or Mancera or Montel, you're really not looking at spending more than like $80 if you look around online. Not that I recommend buying much from Mancera because I've maybe tried two that I've enjoyed. I think that Montel and Mancera are like two of the worst houses I've ever come across. Montel, I have a couple that I do really enjoy, but they're still the ones that I do enjoy are still very similar in composition. Intense Cafe and Red Oud, if you put them side by side, are obviously different, but also kind of similar. The Rose and the Gourmand and they're very heavy, and they don't construct their fragrances so that they're so different. Timbuktu is a very interesting fragrance. I like a lot from L'Artisan. Bois Farine is my favorite from the house. With shit, what's the name of it? It's the oud one. It's gonna irritate me. Their oud fragrance, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm so sick of oud. As a note, I'm so sick of how many houses have been like, let's jump on the oud band. I mean, obviously they're doing it as a marketing thing, but I'm saying that as a consumer, I'm very, very tired of oud being in everything because it doesn't need to be in everything. If everyone just had like a oud fragrance forever, it'd be fine. No, it's not Zing. It's literally like it's got oud in the name. I just can't remember what it is. But it smells like pine cones. And if you go and look, I know my Mickers had made a video for L'Artisan, this particular oud fragrance, and I love Black Orchid on both. I own Black Orchid and I wear it for myself, but I would also love to smell it on a woman. Unfortunately, my girlfriend does not care for the smell and does not care for that kind of composition, so I don't think that will be happening. But I think a very confident, comfortable man could pull it off just fine, and I think the right woman can pull it off just fine. I think it's a very polarizing scent, no matter what your gender is, for Black Orchid. But anyways, so L'Artisan, their oud fragrance just really reminds me of camping in the pine forest. I enjoy that one quite a bit, and Bois Farine. Yes, that one's, I believe it's Zing that smells like the circus. House of Tunes. I gotta be honest with you. I tried making my own compositions like 5 years ago. Me and my buddy. Um, I mean, we had everything down. We had designed labels. We designed what I wanted the caps and the bottles to look like. I had purchased wooden caps that I wanted to use as like zebra wood from Africa or some shit. I'm not even fucking with you all. And I was just working with all these essential oils and perfumers alcohol and trying all these different compositions, and it was very, very difficult. So shout out to John, Kerosene, and anyone else that's figured it out, because doing it yourself, even thinking you can do it yourself is ballsy, but then actually being able to execute it even somewhat decently is pretty impressive. Because I think it takes kind of years to master that, especially if you're. It takes years to master it no matter what, but if you're kind of like shooting in the dark and you really don't know and you're just doing it based on reading things, then it's going to take much longer, I think. But some people obviously have the knack for it. Tobacco oud I really enjoy. It's very, very cinnamon, tobacco, amber on my skin. I think they should have named it tobacco amber, honestly. I don't really get any oud out of it. Well, I had come up with two fragrances that I actually still have in a drawer somewhere, and they were both really good. I'm not gonna lie to you. And my standard, I'm not being a dick, I promise you. I'm not being full of myself. But my standards that I set for myself for like the things that I do in my daily life with my goals are set very high, and my standards for perfumery, because I've had this love for perfumery my whole life, are also set very high. Um, and I had crafted a fragrance that was black tea and sweet pea oriented, and it was really, 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 really nice. But it was a little lighter, a little bit more feminine. I really love tea and fragrances, but it's kind of far and few between that I find that there's any that are too worth it. That's why I loved Midnight in Paris and Bulgari Black so much. And the other one was uh, it was like a marzipan, um, honeycomb, hazelnut concoction, and it was really, really, really good. But I do have them both saved for in case there's ever an opportunity that comes up where there's like a business venture, which I doubt because I'm such a small channel. Um, but if the opportunity ever came up, I have actually stories, little excerpts written for what I would like my fragrance to smell like, and I'm not that naive to think that I would be able to do it. There'd have to be a perfumer, obviously, that knows what the hell they're doing. But I know what I would want. Yeah, they do some really good tea scents. I've just had a really difficult time finding much that Niagara Falls. Um, Tobacco Oud Intense is a more interesting version of Tobacco Oud. It's a little bit more animalic. The DNA has switched up a little bit. If I was to go on a business venture to make a house, I would really, really attempt to make a line. Let's just say that money was no object or whatever. I would make an honest effort to make sure that the fragrances were of quality, um, and bring back that niche name a little bit more. Because when you think of fragrance houses, like, again, I'll use them because they're blatantly obvious. Parfums de Marly, where the price tag for what they are, it kind of like, I don't know, puts a pit in your stomach a little bit, thinking that if that's the way that niche is going to be headed, or has been headed for years now, um, I would really like to bring it back and make a house that's really based on experiences. Absolutely, I love Tom Ford. Yeah, Amber Absolute is one of my all-time favorites. Amber is one of my favorite notes, and for all of you that may have missed the boat on Amber Absolute, since it gets discontinued all the time, I don't know if it's back right now or not, but a really good alternative to it is Profumum Roma Ambra Aurea, I think is what it's called. I've got a bottle of it, and I don't even know the name of the damn shit. I'm a sucker for is what's still available to buy Amber Absolute because I'm not entirely sure. I'm a sucker for cowboy movies. Like The Good, the Bad, the Ugly is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love Clint Eastwood, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Right here on my screen, I've got Red Dead Redemption 2 paused. I'm a huge, huge fan. So I would literally, like, it's my dream to craft a fragrance based around the journey of a gunslinger, essentially. Once Upon a Time in the West. Exactly. Actually, the film I just made, the feature film I just made over the summer, The Purple Dragon, which is about two heroin addicts and some drug dealers kind of catching up to them, is very spaghetti western-like, and I actually used the theme song from Once Upon a Time in the West for my opening. Yeah, a huge, huge fan of westerns, classic westerns. Joey Cannoli, where are you at, you son of a bitch? I thought you loved me. Yeah, there is something to be said about the whole alpha male. Um, Tombstone, God, yeah, see exactly like Tombstone. If you guys haven't seen it and you don't get too queasy, Bone Tomahawk is a really good one too, which is a little bit newer. Um, I- I'm just a sucker for him. Yeah, that's most likely, or she's making him her bitch. Either way, which is probably the more likely of the two. Huh, Joey? Um, yeah, it's actually my another one of my dreams to like make a western. To be honest with you, I'd love to make a western, but it would be my style is a lot more. I'm very influenced by. I have a very bizarre combination of being heavily influenced by Tarantino and Fincher. So I like really cold moments and really depressing and whatever, but also just being way, way over the top, kind of humorous and almost like black comedy. And I would I would implement those two to make a western that would probably fall in line with something that would be more like a Django Unchained, I guess. Um, not not hokey in the sense of like a Tombstone, but like purposefully over the top. Because Tombstone's a little hokey, but still like Val Kilmer's performance in that just kills it. Love it. Love Doc Holliday. Trinity, is Trinity a film or is that a fragrance house? Ah, okay. I'll actually add it to my playlist or watch list rather. I have like a little list that I keep in my phone of movies that I need to watch. Cool. I'll definitely check that out. Sweet. Well, I might watch that later then. I gotta tell you guys, getting back into the gym is, uh, I feel like more energized, I guess, but at the same time, it's such a pain. It's like you try to find time in a day to like do all the things that you need to do, being an adult, and destroying your body for an hour and a half or whatever just seems to get pushed to the back burner. I used to be such a gym rat. I used to do bodybuilding and shit back when I was younger, and I don't know how I did all that shit all the time. Just spend 3 hours at a gym. I have not tried Gallagher yet. I actually just ordered samples of the whole line, I think 3 days ago, 2 days ago. They sound pretty good. Namely I think it's Eau Fresh. The Concord grape kind of captured me a little bit. Oh, hi, Adam. Yeah, actually, he's right here right now. That's my buddy Adam. uh, I've reconsidered my retirement, but not in the sense that um that I'll be like frequent, if that makes sense. It, I guess I just want the freedom to come and go as I please without there being expectation, if that makes sense. Because there's just so much shit going on in my life right now that that's why I'm trying to do this, for example, the live stream, because getting together with Adam and shooting a review and then having Adam cut it together, all between like, because I work full time, I go to school full time, I try to write scripts, I've got my own life outside of this, so it's, implementing doing movie shit with the wonderful team that we've all built together, and this is just like, so it's very difficult to make it all fit. So I don't want to retire. It's a matter of uh, it's a matter of putting money where it should be going and focusing on the real things that I aspire to be, I guess. But it's my hope to always be able to do reviews, even if it's only a handful of times in a year. I don't necessarily want to like close down my channel or anything. I've actually considered doing something. Well, Eugene and Christo and I are discussing trying to figure out how we can get together, and I want to see how many people we can include in that. I want to talk to Chad about it as well. I really don't know. I got to figure out everyone's schedule, and if everyone, because if the bigger it gets, the more just figuring out schedules and stuff like that. But I definitely would love to. Which 5 random movies would I recommend? Do they have to be film that's in theaters or not in theaters? Chad is cool. I just met him last Saturday. We had a good time. We were both kind of feeling under the weather, so that sucked. But yeah, it was bound to happen because it was happening. It was happening even maybe a couple years after I started, and so we're saying like 8 years ago, maybe, like the AdSense craze and whatever else. But it's just, I don't know. It's more power to all the people that can turn it into a market for themselves and grow, and I have no problem with people that want, but it's just, it's a little tainted, unfortunately, and you can't really deny that. All right, 5 movies. Let's see here. Brawl in Cell Block 99. That was my favorite movie from, I think, a year or two ago. Absolutely incredible movie. If you're able to go see it, go check out The Lighthouse. There's nothing like it. I absolutely loved Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I watched it 4 times in the movie theater. Check out Mandy if you like Nicolas Cage and him being over the top. And it's a really interesting film too that's really driven by metaphor and poetry. And Midsummer. Go check out Midsummer if you haven't seen that either. It's a pretty good horror flick. Although you really have to check reality at the door with that one, because see, that's exactly my point. Is the honesty is compromised when you're paid. The Lighthouse is about 2 lighthouse keepers that are stuck in a phallus constructed building, and yeah, they just kind of start to unwind, and they're stuck on this rock together, and it's a psychological thriller, and it's unlike anything I've ever seen. The way it's shot, the way Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson act together is incredible. They're just both insanely good. And if you liked The Witch, it's the same director. So, but yeah, the honesty. I don't see how anyone can argue that it's not compromised when you're getting free things or you're doing something to get something in return. But again, it's not my business, and I'm not going to be the one on here. See, I'll be the one to be the asshole that will make videos about that kind of thing and start a discussion on it, but I wouldn't be the one to specifically call names out that I think or know do that, because it's not my place, it's not my business, I don't have to be them going to look at myself in the mirror at night. And if they're okay with it, then they're okay with it. It's as simple as that, unfortunately. We have to be aware as viewers, as consumers, of who is authentic and who is not. That's our duty for getting free content. So, in the sense that we're not paying to view it. But I do miss the camaraderie and the friendship and the feeling of having a second family with all this that you would have experienced if you had started 10 or 8 years ago or whatever and grew up with that stage of the fragrance community, rather than now where everything is kind of commercial. And I still there's a lot of pros that have come with this too, like all the meetups and all that stuff. That's pretty cool. I can't imagine keeping up with it though. I haven't tried Zippo. I'm not opposed to trying anything, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people would probably assume that I would be more of a snob just because I, especially nowadays, really only review niche, but that's because that's what I wear, and I just want to be honest. I'm not going to pick up fucking Mont Blanc Explorer the day that it came out and review it for you, because I have no clue. I have not a clue how it's going to perform, so why would I review that for you the day it came out or the week before it came out? I review the shit that I wear because that's honestly what I'm doing, so that's what I'm going to share with you. But I love everything, man. Like, CK1 Shock, I said it in Chad's video. I'm wearing it right now. I'm wearing Terry Mugler Angel Men with some CK1 Shock. Because yeah, I mean, and you can get Angel Men for $30, and you can get CK1 Shock for like 15. So, price point and all that shit doesn't matter to me. There's a very obvious difference in quality when it comes to fragrances. Like, no one going to be able to argue with me that a Mont Blanc fragrance has the same quality as a exclusive Guerlain. But if you enjoy a fragrance, you enjoy a fragrance. Half the time it's about a conjuring up some kind of nostalgic nuance or something. And cheap fragrances can do that just as well as expensive fragrances. So I'm down to try anything, to be honest with you. Except I do really kind of reject clone houses. I've not liked anything from Mont Blanc, to be honest with you. Even when there was the craze when it first started. I was just never into them at all. I've tried Star Walker. I've tried a ton of them, and I don't know. I'd wear them if they were given to me for free. I would wear them, but I'm gonna be honest. Parfums Vintage is the only clone house I like, but I wouldn't buy any of them. I wouldn't buy any clone house fragrances, and I haven't ever tried English Laundry either. Have any of you tried Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab? It's a really cool little company out of California, and it's like perfume oils. Just curious, because I don't ever see much on YouTube about them, and I have a small obsession with them. I think the creator has a really cool idea of crafting stories or poetry with her releases of her perfume oil. You should definitely check them out if you have any interest. They come in 5 ml perfume oil jars. I've got quite a few. I've got a couple reviews on my channel. My favorite is called Goblin, which I have not reviewed from them, but I do quite enjoy it. Yeah, I'm the same way. My collection has gotten way small. I've sold a shit ton of my bottles off because there's no need. I got to a place where my collection a couple years ago was just over 500. And I looked at it and I was like, there's gonna be things that I'm not gonna touch for a year. So I got rid of a bunch. Now I try to like rotate what I'm in the mood for, if that makes sense. Unless there's something that is gonna be discontinued or gonna go away or whatever, then I'll grab it and just to say I have it. But otherwise, I'm not buying it unless I'm gonna wear it regularly. My favorite notes are tobacco, sandalwood, leather. Sandalwood is my favorite wood note just because it has that really nice creamy, buttery feel to it. I love cedarwood. Cinnamon, vanilla. My God, I love vanilla in most everything. Like Elborn is delicious. Angelique Noir, Tonka Imperial, all those have vanilla in them, and they're just incredible. Tobacco Vanille. I love amber. A nice smoky. I fucking love incense. Like I said, my scent of the day is Silver Factory. Coffee is like one of my all-time favorites. Coffee soothes me unlike just about anything. My least favorite notes are probably most florals, to be honest with you. I don't like jasmine. I don't like tuberose. Eau Duelle is good. Yeah, I'm a sucker for a good leather scent too, like Mona de Orio's Cure or Tuscan leather. I like the really bold leathers, not the more blonde or lighter leathers. I actually recently picked up a fragrance by Etat Libre d'Orange. Called Jasminette Cigarette, and I have loved that for so so long, and it doesn't make sense as to why I would love it, because it's a very jasmine heavy fragrance. But I used to smoke too, so maybe it's the combination of smelling like cigarettes and hay and jasmine that just kind of catches me in the feels. I don't know. Intoxicated, I really enjoy. You know what it reminds me of is a niche version of Angel Men, which is probably my all-time favorite designer fragrance. That's actually, I don't know if that's true anymore. It used to be, definitely, for a long time. Chanel's Egoist might be my favorite designer fragrance. Terre de Hermes Eau Fresh is absolutely incredible. I'll be here to tell you that if you like Terre de Hermes Eau Fresh, you might possibly really enjoy my favorite Frederic Malle fragrance, Bigarade Concentré. They're very similar. Dior Fahrenheit is incredible. Absolutely incredible. That oily honeysuckle petrol thing going on. Yeah, there's not much like it, so I appreciate it. It's honestly a work of art. I'm very familiar with Beau de Jour, yes. Earlier on, I was comparing it to Sartorial by Penhaligon's. I really enjoy that fragrance a lot, Beau de Jour, and it's unfortunate it's been discontinued. You've been wearing what since you were 17? I missed it. Hermes and Guerlain. Hermes is really good. Um, I don't like much from their exclusive line, to be honest with you. The only one that I really enjoy from the exclusive line is oh yeah, Fahrenheit. Yeah, and Fahrenheit is like a ballsy statement in of itself. If you wear that all day, then you got confidence for days. I love that fragrance. But yeah, Hermes has like a fragrance that I enjoy from their exclusive line, but everything else has been really really great from that house. Um, I haven't tried it. Loam EDP. I should probably just blind buy it. Isn't it like $40 or something? Um, Guerlain Homme Intense was one of my staples for a long, long, long time. It's a mint, spicy rum fragrance, and my God, a boozy almond. Okay, I might pick that up then. Actually, yeah, Hermes is definitely a very good with its citruses. Um, I have not tried much from any Middle Eastern lines. I don't believe. Not that I'm opposed to it at all. I guess I haven't really heard much. I know that there's some wonderful oils and stuff like that. I'm trying to think. There was I had something. And it was that's gonna sound like a cliche, typical, whatever, but it was a really nice, spicy, woody, almost oud vanilla type thing. I'm trying to think what the hell it was, but it was so good. I ran out of it though, but I'm not opposed to trying some if you have any recommendations. I really have not ventured into Middle Eastern perfumery as much. I know that a lot of amouage can come from the Middle East, so if that counts, then I have not tried anything from Armoff.
I try to steer away from clone houses, to be honest with you. Coco Mademoiselle. Yeah, we've been talking for a while, Dan. um, yeah, exactly. I've mentioned that earlier in the video that Parfums de Marly is just a glorified clone house. I agree, and I've mentioned that if you can get them for $100 or less, then they're worth it because they're uh, they're on the same level as a clone house or a mid designer level in my mind. How's it going, Dan? Yeah, I've got the day off, not intentionally. Kind of snowed in over here. I should be at school. I should be, learning, but I'm not. Sycamore is Sycomore for Chanel Sycamore. It's delicious. You should try it if you haven't. I'm actually on a candle kick. I'm trying to figure out which candle I want to purchase from Lucky Scent. I haven't tried that, Dan. I think Sycamore is better than Coromandel, yes. Sycamore is more my style, I guess, but I have both Coromandel and Sycamore. Oh Jesus, panty dropper. Yeah, that's panty dropper was meant to be a fun term trademarked by my makers. I have to check out that diptyque candle because I was looking at their candles and I'll have to check that out. Hello, Joey. I think that the originally intended use of it was to be a little bit more comedic than what it's turned out to be all these years later. Panty dropper. But howdy. But unfortunately, people take something and they run with it, and yeah. I if you need to be guided through experiencing a fragrance deemed panty dropper, then you're probably not going to be dropping any panties. Be sure if you're new to the chat to let me know what your scent of the day is. Mine is, again, since we're like a little over an hour into it here, this guy right here, which unfortunately you can't find. I mean, you can find it on eBay or whatever, but I wore this at the gym like an asshole. Good choice. Fahrenheit is classic. So I'm probably gonna foxtrot Oscar, guys. I need to eat something after working out and stuff. I'm a little parched. I need to take a shower. Need to get on with my day. I'm being a lazy sack of shit. So it was good chatting with you all. I hope to do this more often. And I hope you all take care and have a wonderful rest of your week. And hopefully I can speak with you guys soon. So that being said, I'll talk to you all later. Bye, guys.